Olivia, have you done any summery stuff? Have you had a summer to speak of?
Well, I've been trying to get my kids to the pool as much as possible. Um,
Mm.
so Stephen Cole let us come over a couple of times because he has
Oh,
a pool.
nice.
Yep.
He's the best. And then my cousin lives out where she lives, like Salford area,
Okay.
up by like Harleysville, and she has a glorious pool. So we've just been going all the way up there.
That's great.
Um, Yeah, my kids don't know how to swim yet, and one of them in particular is like pretty cautious about the water. So I'm like, all right, just exposure. Let's just play. Let's have fun.
Mhm.
Get used to getting water in your face sometimes, that sort of thing.
Yeah. That's the first thing they do in lessons and stuff for kids is
Yeah,
exactly that. Get wet, get your face wet, put your face in, take your face out. Obviously, take
yeah.
your face out. If you don't take your face
Scary,
out, it's the last lesson as well.
scary stuff.
Forgetting something.
Well, I was watching
What should I do next? What should I?
we were watching Shark Week and Discovery Channel, and Will Smith had just gotten himself the greatest gig of all time. He's apparently scared of the ocean, so he had Discovery Channel fly him to Australia, Barbados, all over the world, scuba diving with sharks. But I was just laughing. I was just like, man, he just rigged it up so nice. The whole thing,
Yeah.
an hour long, just him narrating, sitting in a chair, telling us all these places he went and these things he did. And the whole time I was just like, must be nice. Must
Yeah.
be nice to
Well,
get somebody else to pay for it.
he couldn't have afforded to go there without Discovery Channel paying
No.
him. So.
That's
Well,
crazy.
and there was even one, he's like, I've done 2 dives, so I thought I'd get my family. And they just zoom in on a yacht on the coast of Italy, and his family's there. And they're talking about, doing a dive. And it's just like, man, really talking about rubbing it in. It's
That's
like, wow.
nice. I'm glad they got to experience that. That's sweet.
Well, the family doesn't do much together, They have a hard time getting together.
Yeah.
Busy
I thought,
schedules.
I saw that reminds me. I read Tiffany Haddish, her book, and I also saw it in a special. But she shot a movie with Jada Pinkett Smith in New Orleans, and on their day off, Jada was like, "So what are you gonna do on your day off?" And Tiffany's like, "Oh, I got a Groupon to go on this swamp tour." And Jada's like, "Oh, are you going with other people?" And she's like, "No, just me." And Jada's like, "Cool, I think Will and I will come with you." And Tiffany was like, "No, that's not gonna happen." And so the next day, Jada like texts her. She's like, "Pick us up. We want to come." So she picks them up. They get there, and Jada's like, "Why are all these people here?" And Tiffany's like, "Because it's a swamp tour. I have a Groupon." "What do you think a Groupon is, Jada?" And Jada was like, "I thought it was a boat." And
Wow.
Tiffany,
Wow.
she's like, "You thought I owned a boat?" So anyway, they end up going on the tour, and Will's like really into it. And at the end, he's like, "Man, I gotta buy one of these." And Tiffany's like, "Oh, cool! Like you're gonna buy one of these swamp boats?" And he's like, "No, I'm gonna buy a swamp." So
Yeah.
he could have
Yeah.
just gone swimming in the swamp, really.
Yeah. That's a whole nother level, those folks. West Philadelphia, born and raised.
and then move the hell out.
Yeah. And then bought it.
Hey, this is Steve with the Punch Up Podcast. With me on this episode are Jessie Preisendorfer,
Hey, Steve.
Kevin Regan,
Hey, Steve.
Eoin O'Shea.
Hey, Steve, by the way, I'm a big fan of Will Smith's.
Good to hear it. Good to hear it. And our storyteller is Olivia Roth. Olivia, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Today I'm going to tell a story of when I was a kid, and in the course of 1 year, I got to participate in 4 different classrooms. So I'm just going to preface this by saying this story may come off as a little bit of a humble brag. So let's just put it out there. I'm pretty smart. I mean, I think everybody knows that by now.
We
I
do.
like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old were you in this story? You said a little kid.
So in first grade, they put me in the like gifted and talented class.
Ooh.
Talented. They put
Doogie
talented.
Howser.
Yeah.
7 years old, they plucked you out.
Yeah, the way they did it at that school in Indiana was that they had actually like a whole grade.
Oh, wait, it's Indiana? Oh.
This was in Indiana now.
Rude.
Yeah, they kind of like separated people. So there was a whole classroom that was kind
It's
of
called
more.
segregation, Olivia.
Yeah.
God damn it, Ian. I was going to do it. And I was like, I'm going to let the lady start to tell her story first.
Sorry.
No, I was going to do the same joke.
I started in this in first grade, and it was a track. So second grade, third grade, I was still in this track. And in third grade, my dad had been in seminary studying to be a pastor. And this was in third grade. He was ready to like graduate and go find a job. And so he did pretty much like a national search.
To be a pastor somewhere? Like,
What,
Yeah.
and Olivia, what's the denomination?
So Mennonite.
We've talked about it in the past, but just in case anyone's not listening. Okay.
Yeah.
And they don't have like a placement? Like he's got to go out and find a church that's looking?
Yeah. No, there was no like internship as far as I know. Well,
Yeah.
you know, I was 9, so I don't really
Right.
remember that part.
So you were
Not
only
that gifted.
Yeah,
Not
I was going
that
to say you were only so gifted.
So was there a special school he went to get pasteurized?
Oh.
Yeah, well, it was
Good one.
a Mennonite seminary, I guess you'd say, in Indiana.
Did
Okay.
he have to go there and live there with other priests, like a monastery, or did he just take classes there? Or
No, it's how do I say? It's a Protestant denomination, and so it's not like being a priest where you're supposed to be like celibate and stuff like that. It's more like Lutheran or Methodist or something else along those lines. So yeah, he took classes on like, I don't know, the Old Testament and different things like that. And it's funny, he could have probably either gone into the church or like into the theater.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Because
there's I'm sure there's some crossing of paths there with teaching, or I would imagine sermons and holding court, right?
yeah, teaching is like combination of teaching and counseling and studying ancient texts, I guess, and then also performing. So it's a good fit for him. But we were kind of I was on pins and needles because this is where I'd grown up. I really didn't want to move. I was really scared about moving, and he ended up getting a job in Iowa, in Des Moines, Iowa, which we knew no one there, like
Right.
no family, nothing. And so I was the one that was like really upset when I found out. Then once we got there, I started getting more excited. My sibling was the opposite. They were more like, they were younger and they were like, this sounds fun. And then we got there and they're like, holy crap, where's everyone I know? Like, I don't understand. Everything is strange. So we kind of reacted oppositely.
and this is in the middle of the school year?
Middle of the school year, yeah.
Wow, that's hard.
So this is classroom number 1. Started off in Indiana in 3rd grade. So when we moved, my parents had not been able to buy a house yet in Des Moines. So we were kind of a little bit in limbo. So they rented a place actually right next door to the church building where my dad worked. And so when we got there, I went into classroom number 2, 3rd grade in Des Moines. And so I'm there and I'm like filling out my worksheets and putting them on the desk. Fill out the worksheet, put it on the desk, twiddle
In
thumb.
calligraphy?
I wish.
Yeah.
After about a week, my teacher was like, I think this is not the right fit for her. And so they brought me in to the principal and like my parents came in and principal was like, no, like, I know she was in Gifted and Talented before, but in Iowa, we're usually ahead of other places.
Yeah,
Mhm.
this is Iowa.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna thrive here. She's gonna be fine. So I think I don't know, maybe it lasted like one more week or something, and then they were like, no, this is not correct. She needs.
What was it? What was there something specific? Because you're saying you're writing your name on a piece of paper in third grade. I'm assuming everyone in Iowa can do that. at
No,
least.
no, no. She was filling out her worksheets.
Oh, I got it. The way you were
Completing
saying it, I was
them.
like, you're just
She was-
writing your name?
Well, what you didn't get from her space work was that she was taking them from her inbox, filling them out, putting them in her outbox, and
In
then,
Latin. Yes,
and then-
now I'm with you. Okay.
Yeah. So they decided to bump me up to fourth grade because that seemed to be more the
Oh.
level that I was at.
The
All
whole
right.
grade. So did they not? They didn't have a gifted and talented in Iowa. They just.
they
I
had fourth
guess-
grade.
Everyone in Iowa is gifted and talented.
That's right.
Only in the fourth grade. Third grade is
Yeah.
pick her up to the fourthers.
Well, and it was interesting a little bit culturally for me because when I, in my lower grades, I was old for my age, old for my grade, I should say.
Mhm.
And then once I got bumped up, I became young for my grade. So
Right.
that was kind of a difference. So that
Sure.
became my third classroom.
Okay.
What was the cutoff then? Like when you say you're old for your grade, was it September 1st and you're like a October birthday or something?
Probably, yeah. My birthday is July. That's what it is. My birthday is July. That's why I was old for my age,
Mm-hmm.
old for my
That's it.
grade. I keep saying that.
Yeah.
We know what you mean.
Yeah.
Um,
I guess that's gifted. I didn't
Yeah, I think that's Iowa talking there.
get it.
I will say I wasn't at this school for very long, but there was this really cool activity they had in gym class that I've never seen anywhere else. I think I Googled it one time because I was like, was that real? And I still don't understand how it got to Des Moines because I think it's from, I want to say like Indonesia or Malaysia or something, but it's called Tinikling. And
That's
let me-
something.
I don't know if my space work is going to be right, but
Tinikling?
Tinikling.
Tinikling.
I think that's how you say it. So if you
Yep.
imagine like two really long bamboo sticks on the ground, but they're propped up like on blocks, let's say. So one person is
Like
holding,
two limbos.
yes, but low to the ground, just like on a 2x4.
How low can you go?
the fact that you said it as seriously as you did, Steve.
So one person's on one side holding the two sticks, the other's on the other side, and they just like click them together, click them apart, click them together,
I've
click
seen
them
that.
apart.
We did that in my school growing up.
Really?
You jump in between them.
Well,
You
it's like
jump
a-
in between.
Right. It's like
And
double Dutch.
it's like double
Double
Dutch,
Dutch, yeah.
and the sound of the clicking is like really beautiful. If a whole bunch of people are doing it at the same time, you can get rhythmic.
Yeah.
People would learn tricks and do like, I don't know, pogo sticks or like,
So you jump up and they click them together and then they pull them apart and you can land?
You can land feet on the
Yeah.
outside, feet on the
Or
inside,
double clicks and
yeah, and
I
you get
hear-
like faster and faster and do like different patterns of jumping in and jumping out.
Olivia, are you suggesting you invented the Broadway hit Stomp?
In third grade in
I
Iowa.
was, let's just say I was involved.
And Jesse, you're saying Tinikling was in the Poconos?
Well, I don't remember. I just, as soon as you started describing it, I could picture it in my mind. I knew exactly what you were talking about. And I remember doing it because I remember getting my ankle caught between the two sticks. Well, because if it was gym class, like that's what happened, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember if that
I
was.
mean, you had jerks in gym class?
No,
Trying to trap you.
I was not gifted at jumping, so I would get caught.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
See, I was not gifted at jumping either. Gym was not my specialty.
But yeah, I've seen that. I've done that. I've done that. I don't know where, but I've done that.
Meanwhile, I'm in my third classroom. My parents finally bought a house, and it was in another different school district. And so,
Hmm.
Oh my
so we moved to that house, and we changed schools again. So I was in fourth grade.
Same
in
year?
School. Same year, yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
gosh.
Now that new school did it have the same academic, like it was equivalent with the other school? So you went in fourth grade?
Yeah, I stayed in fourth grade. Hmm.
I will say there is, as we go getting ready for the school year and we're going through all this stuff, it does harken back to a time when kids just did whatever the hell they were told to do.
Yeah.
And there was no, there was no discussion at the family table like, would you mind switching schools again? Or, we're now you go here. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's just, it's just the way it was.
I mean, it seems very harsh and crazy to switch schools that many times in the middle of a year. And as parents now, we'd be like, we simply couldn't. I couldn't do that to my kids. It was enough to move this year. I can't imagine, but it's just a different time where the job is. That's where we're going.
So Ian's going to robot school.
Yeah.
I know.
The kids will be fine, and they are. They adapt something right now. Sorry.
I never switched. Never switched schools.
No, neither did I.
That explains the haircut.
Which one of us are you talking about? I actually
One that has a haircut.
Oh, ouch.
We had a new parish that we went to, but it didn't have a school because it was too new. So they built the church, but they hadn't built the school yet. Because that was the fear we had, was we knew that we had to start going to this other church, but because they didn't have a school, we stayed in our grade school. But that's hard, man. But 4. And what was the time period, Olivia? How was it, like within 2 months?
No. I don't remember exactly. It was
Just enough time to make friends.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It was I think I was like pretty outgoing and social in Indiana because I was just like super comfortable. I was probably insufferable. Let's just face it. My gifted and talented.
Precocious.
Yeah. Oh, right around the time, right before we moved, I also got glasses, and I felt really self-conscious about that. And so I felt self-conscious about my glasses. We moved, and it was so awkward because by that point, everybody had their friends already.
Yeah.
And plus it was the middle of the year, and I was like super shy. And so I still remember that the second school, at lunchtime, like I wouldn't know who to sit by. And even still, sometimes if I smell, there's a certain like sour milky smell that reminds me of that cafeteria. It's like so triggery. Yeah, I had like a stomach ache every morning for a while, and my mom was like, oh, maybe I'm putting too much oil in the granola. Maybe I should cut back on the oil. And it had never been a problem before. But
I get triggered by the smell of soft pretzels sometimes, because in our school they had there was a snack time, like I guess late, I don't know, 10 o'clock in the morning, whatever it was, and whatever kid would subscribe, so their parents would pay ahead of time, they'd come around with there was soft pretzels, and then there was another bin of those little juice cartons, and they would give them out to the kids whose parents had paid ahead of time.
Yeah, they didn't give them out. This is the Catholic Church. They
delivered them.
Yeah, you had paid, and it was now,
And every now and then there'd be extra ones, and you could buy, like if you had a dime that day, buy the extra one. And I mean, I could probably count on, 2 hands how many times I got to do that. But it was just like feeling like, oh my God, I can't believe I get to have a pretzel today.
It is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And if they didn't have extras, you were just singled out as the kid whose parents didn't pay.
Yeah, you just...
Please, sir, may I have some more?
Yes, there were kids would give you a piece of their pretzel.
Yeah. And there were kids that just lorded them over you.
Steve, were the pretzels really cold? Like they weren't warm out of the oven pretzels. They were
freezing.
Yep.
Freezing and wet.
Yeah. Yep. We had them too. I think probably you could ask every kid who ever went to a Catholic school. Yeah. We had the same thing, but you couldn't subscribe. You didn't have a subscription for pretzels. You had to buy them every day. And they had, I think ours were 15 cents. I'm a little bit younger, so the inflation, but it was 15 cents. And that's what you would do. You would be able to buy your pretzel, and they would have extras. And I don't know what they would do with them. They may very well have trashed them and not give them to the poor kid. Just be like,
Maybe the local pigeons.
Possibly, very possible.
Doubt it.
So Olivia, how was the fourth school experience for you?
Yeah, no, I didn't really find any kindred spirits in fourth grade. I remember at the end of the year, the teacher gave out these like funny awards. She was a really nice teacher, but mine was Little Miss Know-It-All.
Ooh.
Oh.
I was like just devastated because that was the opposite of what I ever wanted to be.
Right.
Oh my God.
That's
Now-
cool.
Yeah, now my brains are being used against me. Like it wasn't cool to
Yeah.
be smart
No,
anymore.
well, and why not future leader of America, right?
Yeah.
Why not something fantastic?
Little Miss Know-It-All.
Little Miss Know-It-All. Just oh, that's
The
awful.
trophy is glasses.
It's just cruel. Like as a teacher, I can't ever imagine giving out an award that makes fun of a kid. Like it's
Yeah.
You're smart.
so
Yeah,
cool.
like I said, I'm sure she was trying to mean it as a compliment in some way. I actually had it up until pretty recently, I think.
And then you burned it. You finally, where it was enough to go to hell with this. You know what though, Olivia? I mean, if you can look at the bright side, I know you said you liked her as a teacher, but at the same time, you were in 4 different classrooms in 1 year, and she was stuck in the same goddamn one. So
In Iowa.
Teaching the gifted kids.
Yeah, it moving to Iowa, it rocked my world in a really rough way for a long time. Like it took me, I was thinking about it. I found one friend eventually who I got along with, and then 8th grade, I would say it got like good. And then, but it wasn't until sophomore year of high school that I would say like things got really great.
And when did you leave? When did you leave Iowa?
She's there.
Not,
Yeah, that's where I am.
not till I went to college. My we lived there for years.
Yeah.
So that's where I consider my like growing up formative years.
Yeah, I know you and I had talked about it before, and I thought you were from Iowa. And I think on the previous podcast, you had said, no, well, I was born in Indiana. And I just took that to mean like you were born in Indiana and lived there for a handful of months and then went to Iowa. I didn't realize you were already in 3rd grade by the time.
Yeah, I was.
4th grade.
But like in the end, I really bonded, I think, with the city, and especially in high school, I had some really, 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 really amazing friends who I'm still friends with.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always say I'm from Iowa. My sibling says they're from Indiana. So like again, we have same lived experience, but
They're younger. They lived in Iowa longer.
does that compute?
Well, they're younger now, so
See, that gifted program in the 4th grade, it just kind of, it plateaus.
I would have been in 5th grade.
I think I lived there longer because I lived more years of life. Pretty sure. But yeah. But they went back to Indiana. Well, actually, both went back to Indiana for college, but they still live there now. So that's like, there's like a bond.
Okay.
Well, wherever you are, that's where you're at.
That's right. So, I mean, I think it was I know it was character building for me to move like that. But like, yeah, I mean, if I had to do that to my kids now,
Yeah.
it would be,
That's a lot. It's a lot in 1 year.
yeah, it would be hard to
Not change.
kind of know.
Switch schools twice. That would be something. It would be tough.
But at least I learned how to Tinikling.